Good morning, students. I hope you are ready with your pen, pencil, notebook, and book. And I am very happy, satisfied to see that maximum students understood everything. Few students have some doubts, so I will clear their doubt. Plus, I will give you solutions of back exercises. Students, there is nothing new to tell you, but I want to remind that at least you have to try to write answers of between the lines yourself. But though it seems difficult for you, so I will give you some hints to write those answers. Also, I will explain you the answers of read the sentences of poem. One more thing, that make the habit of using dictionary to find the meanings of difficult words. This will increase your vocab. A single word has a different meanings. Sometimes it functions as verb, noun, or adjective. One of the students asked me the meaning of chuckle. So, chuckle is a verb and it means to laugh quietly or inwardly. Now, I want to request that next time if you ask any meaning, please address me properly from where you are asking me that word, so it will be easy for me to relate that word in the sentence. So let's start with the first chapter, the gift of the Magi, and we'll start with complete these sentences. So here is the first question. Complete these sentences. First is Della was howling on the couch because. Now why she was howling on the couch? She wants to purchase the Christmas gift and she had a little amount. So what you will write there? Della was howling on the couch because she had only $1.87 to buy a Christmas gift for Jim. Now next is the vestibule below had a dash. Now when I explained you the chapter or when you read, you may have remembered that a description was given of a damaged letterbox, an electric button which did not function, and a card bearing the name Mr. James Dillingham Young. So here you simply write that the vestibule below had a letterbox. If you will write all this description about it, that is also not wrong, but make it short. Write that that the vestibule below had a letterbox. Then the third one is the two possessions of the James Dillingham Youngs in which they both took a mighty pride were, it's very easy, that James' gold watch and Della's long hair. Then the fourth one is Madame Sofronie paid Della. Now how much she paid? $20 for her long hair. And the fifth one, after paying for Jim's gift, Della was left with 87 cents. Now our next question is read these lines and answer the questions that follow. So I will read the sentence and I will read the question also. Directly answers are given here. Now listen carefully. I don't think there is anything in the way of a haircut or a shave or shampoo that could make me like you any less. But if you will unwrap that package, you may see why you had me going a while at first. Now the first question is that who said these words and to whom? It's very easy. Who will say all these things? That I don't think there is nothing in the way of a haircut. Yes, naturally Jim will say. So what is the answer? Jim said these words to Della. Then the next question is, why did the speaker say these words? Now, why he said these words? So the answer is Jim said these words for, the reason is for he had bought a gift thinking of Della's hair which she had cut off. So that's why he gave a long explanation for this. Okay. Then the third question is, what was in the package? Now, what was in the package? Yes, beautiful pure tortoise shell combs. So you will write there that there was a beautiful pure tortoise shell combs in the package. Now you can also write that the combs or the set of combs also. Then your next reference to context is second one. Let's keep our Christmas presents away for a while. They are too nice to use at present. Now, who said these lines and to whom? Again the same question. So, Jim said these lines to Della. Then the B question is, why did the speaker say that the Christmas gifts were too nice to use at present? So, this too gives the negative meanings also. So, too nice means not that much, it's not appropriate to use that gifts at that time. So, why did the speaker say that the Christmas gifts were too nice to use at present? So, the answer is that the speaker said that the Christmas gifts were too nice to use at present because they had both sold the things that the gifts were meant for. It means that now that time they can't use those gifts. So that's why it is said that to keep those gifts away. Then the C question is, do you think the story ended on a hopeful note? So what do you think? Yes or no? According to me, the answer is yes, because it ends on a hopeful note, because that time they can't use, but later on in the future they can use. So we can write this answer in this way, that yes, I think the story ended on a hopeful note. It shows how love is the best present one can give as well as receive. Now next is between the lines. Now in between the lines there are two questions. Let's see the first one, that why are Jim and Della compared to the Magi, and how are they the wisest? Now in the whole chapter it was explained. In the starting also I explained you that who were the Magi, and now when the description is given about the Magi, then how it relates with Jim and Della, with the story. So what's the hint that who were the Magi? You can get this answer from the last paragraph of your of this chapter, that where it is given that the Magi, as you know, were the wise men, wonderfully wise men who brought gifts to the babe in the manger, and they invented the art of giving Christmas present. So from here you can write some points. Then the next part is that how are they the wisest? So why they are considered the wisest? What is the most important thing that is it is described here? Love. So how you can write the answer, that Jim and Della are compared to the Magi because like the Magi they also gave a Christmas present to each other. And then you can write about the most important gifts, that is the love that they have for each other. So you just mold these things in your own words and then write it. And the next question is, when we express ourselves by deliberately saying something which means the opposite, it is known as irony. Discuss the use of irony in the story. Now irony means whatever is said, it means just opposite of it. In the chapter also you have seen that how Jim and Della they both purchased a Christmas present for each other, but what is the irony in that the gifts they purchased for each other, they are not able to use at that time, on that day, on that Christmas day. So this is the irony that you have to tell. So hint is given that what did Della and Jim do to buy a Christmas gift for each other in this. You can write that how Della sold her hair, and what Jim did to purchase a gift for Della, what he purchased for Della. So when both of them were not able to use that gift, so in this way, when they sold the precious possession to give the present on the Christmas Eve, this is the irony in this chapter. So in this way you can write this answer. Now next topic is from the grammar. Sentences can be of 4 types based on their purpose. There are 4 types of sentences: declarative, imperative, interrogative, exclamatory. Now in declarative, you can make a statement and ends with a full stop. An imperative gives an advice or order, makes a request or wish, and it ends with a full stop. In an interrogative sentence, it means it asks a question, ends with a question mark. And in exclamatory sentence, strong emotions are expressed and it ends with an exclamation mark. This you have already read in your previous classes. Now the question is there that read these sentences and identify their types. So I will read the sentence and the answer is given in front of you. So the first is, wow, what a beautiful surprise. So the sudden expression is there in the sentence. You can see the exclamatory mark. So naturally it is exclamatory sentence. Then the next is, do not leave the building. So this is imperative. It is a command. Then third is, Richa is a dexterous sculptor. Now this is declarative statement is given. Then fourth is, where should I keep the books? Question mark is there. Question sentence is there. So you will write interrogative sentence. The fifth is, hooray, we have won the championship. So again you can see the emotions are expressed here. Strong feelings is there. Exclamatory mark is there. So the fifth one is again exclamatory sentence. Then the sixth one, what will you have for lunch? Question mark is there. Question is asked. So it is interrogative. Then seventh is, Rohit is an honest boy. It is a statement. So it is declarative. Then the last is, give me her address. So something is asked there. So here it's not a question sentence, but it is a request, requesting someone to ask, requesting something. So this is imperative sentence. Here is your next question, that you have to transform these sentences as directed. In the bracket, the hints are given in which you have to change. So the first one is, this is the child who stopped us yesterday. Now this sentence you have to change in interrogative. So to change into interrogative, usually what we used to do, that we use the auxiliary verbs if it is given in the sentence in the beginning of the subject. So here we can use in this way, that is will use in the beginning of this. So the sentence will be, is this the child who stopped us yesterday? The rest of the sentence will be same. So don't forget to put the question mark when it is asked to change into interrogative sentence. Then the second is, Tina sings beautifully. I have to change into exclamatory sentence. To change into exclamatory sentence, if the adjective is given, we'll start with how. So we'll write that wow, how beautifully Tina sings. Then the third is, will you give me some bread? This is a question sentence. Now here it is asked to change into imperative sentence. So to change into the imperative sentence, we'll start like this, that please give me some bread. Here it is asked that will you give me some bread? So it is changed into imperative as, please give me some bread. Then the fourth one is, who can sing better than Lata? You have to change into declarative. Now two answers are given, you can write any one. No one can sing better than Lata, or Lata can sing better than anyone. Now the fifth one is, pass me the salt. Now this you have to change into interrogative. To change into imperative, there is no auxiliaries are given there, helping verbs are not given there. So we'll use will. Will you please pass me the salt? And we'll put question mark. Now, sixth one. How calm is this place? This is an exclamatory sentence, and here it is asked to change into declarative sentence. So we'll remove how and we'll write there for how very. So we'll write in this way that this place is very calm. A will not come there, so please remove a. By mistake it was typed. This place is very calm. Then next is it is kind of you to visit us. This is declarative sentence. We have to change into interrogative. So is given, so we can use is in the beginning of the sentence. Is it kind of you to visit us? Or in another way also you can write by using will. Will you be so kind to visit us? Then the last one. Wasn't it careless of him to leave the keys here? So we have to change this into declarative. This is the question sentence, interrogative sentence. Wasn't it careless of him to leave the keys here? So we'll write into declarative that with it was careless of him to leave the keys here. Now here's the question from your vocabulary portion. Read these words from the story. Make sentences with their opposites. Now you have to make sentences with their opposites, not with that word. So the first is shabby. Shabby, the opposite of shabby is new. So you have to make the sentence with their opposite, which is new. So for the example, I've given you an answer. He just bought a new bike. So in this way, I have given you the opposites of the remaining words, and you have to make sentence of your own. So the second is brilliant. Brilliant means something shiny. So what will be the opposite? Dull. Then third is mammoth. Mammoth means huge. So the opposite will be tiny. Fourth is superficial. The opposite of genuine. Then fifth is valuable. Opposite is worthless. Then sixth is ecstatic. Something means it means that overwhelming happiness. So the opposite will be miserable. Then seventh is anxious. Opposite is carefree. Eighth is silent. Opposite is loud. So I hope it is clear that you have to make the sentence of opposites. Now chapter number 2, still I rise. I have already given you the answers of read the sentences. Only between the lines are remaining. That also I am giving you. So in between the line, the question is given. What impression do you form of the speaker from your reading of the poem? So when I explain you the poem, from the poem also it is very easy to understand that we have seen that the speaker is very bold and very powerful, and she is not ready to leave, means to just break down. She is that much brave to face all the worries. So what you will write the answer in that the speaker seems to be strong and powerful woman who is brave enough to overcome the hatred and the hardships that she faced all her life. It's for all the non-white community this poem refers to. Then the next is, what interference can you draw about her experiences? So from the poem we can learn that past was rooted in pain. She has managed to overcome by courage and refused to break down. So we have seen in the poem that how it was given that from the past itself we have seen that they have suffered a lot of pain, and she has that power to overcome that suffering by courage and she refused to break down, to live up. Then in the next video, I will continue the explanation of our chapter number 3, Games at Twilight. I hope everything is clear. So thank you. Take care.